midday Sunday. My tailbone is telling me how much it didn't like yesterday. I've got to find my old seat cushions I used to use for marking all the time because they're just sitting on hard plastic seats. And with the new COVID restrictions and you're not allowed to leave your seat and walk around, yeah, my back and my tailbone really are not happy today. I think I've got my cushions in the van because that was the van or the Suzuki. I took them out of the Suzuki, so I think they're in the van. So I used to always have them just ready. But you can kind of see by the clouds, there's a chance it could storm this afternoon. I reckon around, well, my wife said around 2:30 is what the weather said. So I thought I'd better get this little one out and this old one out and get a walk in. Especially since marking after work all this week, so there'd be no chance of being able to do a walk after school. And then I've got to mark next Saturday as well, all day. So it's almost like I think today's going to be a chore day after this. We'll see. Wife wants me to help her today. She still needs to do her voting for the US presidential elections, and as per usual, her ballot kit has not arrived. They always seem to arrive late, or one part will come and then another part will come after she's already sent the ballot back, so all the information. So she called the consulate and they showed her how she could actually log on and download her ballot and get it filled in and sent in. So I'm going to do that today to make sure her vote counts. I don't know how loud this sounds to you. It's deafening to me. And it started at about somewhere between 4 and 5 a.m. Notice how much quieter it is here. It's like there's hardly any cicadas in the trees just here. But back in that area, there was loads of them. I think there's more up this way, but I noticed that driving back to the house the other day, it was kind of like this, because I had my window open in the car, and then I turned into our street, or the street just above ours, and all of a sudden you just hear the din of the cicadas. Oh, it's much nicer here. They were crazy back that way. So I just got back to the truck. As we're walking down the last section, there's a giant yellowtail black cockatoo. And he's just been flying ahead of us. And after it took off, I heard a kangaroo or wallaby shoot off in the bush just beside us there. That there, that's the cockatoo. They have more of a cry sound to them. Trying to get Sam to have a drink and he won't. So we'll head back to the house. He'll get a drink there. Here he goes. Just flew over the top of us. I wonder where the others are. They usually fly in at least pairs. That one sounds like a sulphur crest. Oh. That's him there. It's about as close as I can zoom. Not sure how loud this is going to sound. So we had the walk this morning, and when we got back, I got the door set up under the house with some sawhorses so that I can start painting it. But the yard had exploded in terms of grass and everything and weeds. I wanted to try and do the front yard last week and never got to it, but it was really overgrown. And backyard so I did that. That took hours. And we also had groceries, like all the groceries that we delivered and they came and they arrived. And then I'd finished doing all of the weed whacking through the whole rock, including some of the overgrown vines and the fences and stuff. And my wife had said, can I weed all that rockery at the front, which I'm sure I showed at some point, especially with the folders and things. Giant sandstone rockery in the front yard that's got water holes in it, natural water holes, which will be filling up now because it's raining. But I had put mondo grass all the way around. I worked with how somebody years ago, actually 2 different people, that were getting rid of mondo grass for free and then a view coming to the end of the yard. So I thought I did one there. And put it in the back of Max where they planted that all around this rockery. And it's growing really well with the grass and leaves are sort of being so she asked me to do it, and I was doing that when the groceries were out, so I had to stop. And I'm dealing with the groceries, and the rain started, and it's now 7:30, it's getting dark anyway. But I didn't want to at least go out and rake up the stuff that I had. Not doing now, actually went out front and wet, and I get to wet going on now. That's the annoying thing, it's Sunday night and I'm marking all of this week, so I won't even be able to do it after work. Kind of glad that I'd set up that tarp just out in front of this as like a little balcony so I could do some work the other day, like last weekend, just in case it rained. And I just left it up. So it's been here all week. And it's actually good now because it's stopping the rain from beating against the front doors of the workshed. And means I'm not getting all water through the shed. Because I think that's where most of the water comes in and rushes down. I don't think I get any under the wall anymore because the footpath that's out there is a little bit low and it sort of funnels water away. I think most of it comes in from hitting the doors and just splashing under. And I tried to fix that by making the bottom door out a little bit further. See it for a bit of rain. But this tarp is stopping it, so it'd be nice to be good if I could actually get just a little bit of a rain at the front. Initially when I redid this roof, I thought about trying to make the iron go a lot further up a bit of an awning, but because the doors go right up to the top and the slope, the doors hit anything further out than what it is now, which is about 3 inches, 75 mil. Any further out than that, and the doors won't open. Ow. Had to come down into Springwood. So while we're waiting around, we just decided to give them a little bit of a walk. Different scenery. You ever been driving and your fuel gauge is really, really low, and you're really concerned about not making it to a gas station, or you know where the next one is and you go, I'll just get there, I'll get there. Well, that was the case driving back from marketing. I knew I needed to get fuel on the way, but I ended up having to take a detour right down near marketing because there was an accident or something, and so I had to do these winding and everything. So finally get around to driving, my warning light comes on. The warning light usually comes on when you've got about 10 litres left. And I'm going, well, that's okay, it's 100k, a little bit more. But as it got down and further into the red, it started it seemed to be moving quicker towards a really, really, really empty spot. Glenbrook was like $1.25. And I went, no, I know Falconbridge is probably $1.19. And there's a little gas station at Linden a bit further on, which was $1.09 when I drove down. And I went, and it just kept getting lower and lower and lower. And I didn't know if I could chance it. So I pulled in at Falconbridge, filled up 70 litres, 70.03 litres. The truck's got a 75 litre tank. It was an extra 4k to the Linden station, and they dropped their price down to $1.05. I was like, is that 14 cents difference? That's like $9 something savings I would have made. But I just couldn't take that chance. I wasn't feeling that lucky, that much of a gamble. I noticed when I did fill up, it tells me fuel range is about 777 kilometres on a tank. I'd done 829. I'm getting pretty good fuel economy, and I'm not running it in eco mode. I'm using the S-Drive in here so that it gives a little bit of a sportier performance for taking off at lights and stuff, and throttle response. And I was worried that I was going to be chewing through the fuel because of that, but I'm getting about, I think it's 8.5 litres per 100 kilometres, which is pretty good for a big heavy truck. Hear them? Couple of owls. One sounds like it's across the street in the trees up there. The other one's down here, down the back in the bush. Cicadas are still coming out. There's two down there. I think that one's a shell. These two. Not sure if that one there is one from last night. It has been so hectic at work. You know, I worked well yesterday, year 11, called employers today. Got some more work done on there. Saw horses. Now just down at marking again. Made pretty good time, so I've got half an hour to get across to the market centre from parking. Work happening up in the distance. Interesting watching that grow up. This is the long walk back to the car park at the night, end of night. Keep my mask on for most of it because I'm walking amongst a crowd of people. Don't tend to walk as fast in the end of the night. Just not trying to get back on time or some sort of thing. Don't want to get demonetised even though I'm not monetised. Turn the radio off. Tonight felt like a really long night. Pretty tired. Which always makes it harder. Perfect. Made myself a coffee before I left, and this isn't an insulated mug. And it's like perfect temperature right now. Been pretty tired since yesterday, and sitting there marking, it can be exhausting on your brain. Like it's an hour's drive from here back to the house at least. And because I didn't race down into the car park from the centre, there's usually a rush of people trying to get out of the car park at the end of the night. But today it was like, I could see the cars all leaving as I was walking across the bridge. And now it's like, pretty empty. Like you'll often be in a line of cars trying to get out at the end of the night. If you don't try and bolt down to get out of the car park and just take a leisurely stroll, you get down here, you get into your car, you start it up and you drive out. And that's been the same deal. No matter what marking centre you're at, because there's a number of marking centres within Sydney. The very first one I was at was right down in Redfern. That's right in the city. And there was one at Rose Hill. And there's always been a thing of you want people trying to race out to get out of the car park first. And when you think about it, like we've got a lot of markers in our centre, and there's another 2 or 3 subjects being marked at the same time in different areas there. So there's a lot of people leaving. It's 8:50. I shouldn't feel this tired, but I am. Okay, end of the week. That was the last of year 11 for this week. And working on the sawhorses. You can see some of their stuff already in there. Some coming along quite well, but they're going to be out all next week doing work placement. But during this period, I had one of the art teachers come around and ask if I wanted some. She had just plain framing timber, and we said, "Oh, we got some of this. Would you like it?" And I said, "Yeah." And she goes, "Oh, we got some smaller pieces as well." So here was my framing timber. All the other stuff that she gave me, all bits from the old gym floor that got torn up years ago. Some nice long lengths of Sydney blue gum. Used to be, like I said, it used to be our gym floor. Went until they replaced it because of water damage. Just got to find somewhere to store it properly. That was a bonus. I've now just got to go back to the staff room, photo some paperwork for some of those students. They only brought their paperwork back today. Marking done. I was one of the smart people today in terms of the umbrella. Been pouring throughout the day. So at least I'm dry. Another walk back. Sciatic's giving me hell. Sitting in a seat for so long. Anyway, Saturday Arvo. See if I can enjoy the rest of the weekend before next week. I've had to set the door up in this back room area of downstairs because we just started having bad weather, and this is something I've got nowhere really that I can set it up to paint otherwise. I'd love to be able to mask it all off and spray it, but that's not going to happen. So I think I can get a really good coat just with a brush and a roller. It'll be a good protecting coat. So this is just first coat of undercoat. Okay, one coat on one side. At the top edge, I couldn't do the bottom edge because it's too close to the wall. So when I flip this over to the other side, I'll be able to do that outside edge. I'll slide up this way a little bit, do the bottom edge and the other side, which I still need to take off the glass on that side. But it's pretty cold today, so this might take a little bit longer to dry enough to be able to flip over, because I don't want to flip it over and then damage the paint. Alright, go do some other stuff. So you can see how I've got this set up now. I have my little bench. I've got my old phone doing set up here where I put a little bit of copper pipe in the vise, and a tripod mount type thing, which is meant for hooking onto pipes and stuff. And I've got it plugged in down here, and there's the soldering iron plugged in to power point going. Yeah, that one's on here for these tools. But at least you're closer in view now, so I can start working on this.